Good morning everybody, hope you're doing really well. So today, this is our last video really following the story of the Bishops of Winchester, and what a brilliant place to end on than actually being in Winchester itself. Obviously we've just gone past the cathedral that you saw. It's beautiful around here. It's, for anybody who wants a sort of brief synopsis, it's basically the same as Canterbury in Kent, but just a little bit smaller, and obviously we're based in Hampshire. It's absolutely stunning around here today. I picked a beautiful day to go exploring, so stay with me and let's explore one of the last remnants of the Bishops of Winchester and their beautiful ruins that they've left behind, this one in particular. Come on, let's go. Located in Winchester lies a truly incredible and beautiful ruin, that of Wolvesey Castle, or Old Bishop's Palace. The palace had had a long and troubled history, but its story would start around the late 1st century, when it would be occupied by Athelwold of Winchester, who was one of the pre-Norman bishops of Winchester, who would become his official residence. Fast forward in time to the 12th century, and it's the ruins of what you see today construction wise, which are mostly due to Bishop Henry of Blow, who made a huge mark in the timeline of the Bishops of Winchester, being responsible for most of the construction of the residence and the 6 castles that the bishops over time would reside in. But it was during Henry's reign that the palace would turn more into its namesake of Wolvesey Castle. This would be due to the civil war between Henry's brother Stephen, who were both descendants of William the Conqueror, against Empress Matilda, daughter of Henry I, who were both claiming for succession of the crown. This would be known as the Anarchy. Winchester would be at the heart of this civil war, with Henry changing sides and eventually siding back with his brother. It was because of all of this that afterwards he decided to fortify the palace, adding towers and turning it more into a castle. In time, the site would see many comings and goings, with new bishops arriving and small changes to the palace being added, but it would be in the late 17th century when it was finally abandoned and would be demolished, and the bishops by the mid 18th century would choose Farnham Castle as their main residence. Now given Grade 1 listed status and run by English Heritage, the story of this ruin is one that proves the saying if the walls could talk, and for that alone it's a place that I thoroughly recommend you to explore should you be in the area. Okay, so here we are, I've just walked through the entrance and we're standing looking at it now. Obviously on our information plaques it talks about Henri de Blow, or Henry de Blow, there, who we've come across many a time, like I said, our Farnham Castle and our Bishop's Palace in Waltham. Amazing, really, really special, so beautiful. Really excited just to sort of come here and finish this all off. It is free entry as well, so you know, no excuses for anybody to really come down here. You know, if you can travel at all, I'd thoroughly recommend you do. Wow, amazing. So what I love is because it's English Heritage, as I mentioned before, and it's free, you've got all the information boards you need here when you do visit. So obviously in my history lesson it gives you the history of it, but to actually understand the structures and the meaning behind those structures and how they were made, etc., it's best just to come down here and check it out for yourself. But obviously you can see that there's some perimeter fencing. That's because some of the ruins are now becoming unstable through time and obviously weather. As I'm recording this, spring has just sprung and it's just been reopened, so it's only been open for about a week now, I think, as I'm recording this. It's Winchester Cathedral in the background there, overshadowing everything, and remarkable really. Obviously the pigeons making their usual sort of chirping sound. There you go, it says the fortification of Wolvesey. During the reign of King Stephen. Obviously we know that was Norman, the Norman Civil War with Matilda. Again, we've sort of covered most of this. There's King Stephen there, Matilda. And we know with Henri de Blois that he chose wisely in his choice, obviously, of who to side. But look at this. Audience with the bishop. Bishop Henri presiding over a meeting of church leaders in the East Hall block in about 1160. By this stage the hall itself had been relocated to the first floor of the building. Look at that. So originally wooden beams would have gone across. Remarkable. So unfortunately the palace kitchens, which is what these are, unfortunately aren't accessible at the moment. I don't think they are anyway. Just falling debris as you can see. But fortunately we can see through them. It's amazing to think really that over time how much of this has been sort of slowly taken away. Some of it's obviously been shorn up again just to make sure the walls don't fully crumble down. Although it's quite cloudy and a little bit windy, I do apologise if the wind is coming out. I can assure you it is actually quite a warm day today. Here we are, the bakehouse. Boundary walls erected in about 1374. Over the next 2 centuries, a series of bakehouses were built, rebuilt and extended adjacent to it. Can you imagine when it was at its height, its pomp, the sounds, the smells, the vibrancy? I mean, you get that anyway, just in Winchester itself, this beautiful vibrancy. So many people about, even early this morning, walking their dog, going for a run. It's just so nice to see. So I'm very lucky I've got this all to myself at the moment, but I think it's because I'm literally the first person to come in. So many people wandering around outside doing their walk, and I saw a few people waiting to see when it was open, but I've just come straight in, which is brilliant. There we go, it talks about the treasury. The Winchester Pipe Rolls, the annual accounts of the bishop's extensive estates and the bishop's money were once stored within the gatehouse. So I don't really want to read too much on those information boards, because really the idea is that you can come down there and check this out for yourself. But if you can't, I always say hopefully this just gives you a good enough feel and vibrancy about this place that you feel like you've learnt a little bit. Even on this explore today, you can hear the sounds of nature and the birds as well following us. There you go, and there's the Woodman's Gate. This gatehouse was constructed by Henri de Blois between 1158 and 1171, although built to appear strongly defended with a drawbridge and arrow loops in 2 adjacent rooms. It never had a military function, and after 1376 it became the treasury and treasurer's lodgings. Look at that though. There's the beautiful gardens around. There's a squirrel. It's not hard to imagine when you look round where the windows would have been, doors. It just helps that you get these information boards that give you that certain premise. I kind of feel like I've been spoilt today with just having this all to myself. It's not even a permission visit. Feels like it though, because you're kind of like, wow, I'm on my own here. Here we go, the early palace and West Hall. Before the time of Bishop Henry, there had already been a Bishop's Palace residency at Wolvesey for over 150 years. Look at this. I cannot believe how lucky I am just to have this all to myself today, this morning. Early medieval plumbing, there we go. Bishop Henry employed the latest innovative technology at his palace, installing one of the earliest known medieval examples of piped water supply. There we go, it says, you're here. There's our well house, which is down, I'm assuming it's down there. And then, excuse the rushiness of this, ornamental tank. And a couple more well houses there, piping it through. And then our latrine block is down there. I love the fact that the cathedral just sort of shadows over this place. Just as a reminder of how powerful religion was at one point, how much of an effect it had. And obviously, like I said, we're within the Winchester College grounds as well, all around here. Brilliant. We're sort of in a valley here, really, on one side at least anyway, and you kind of get the idea of that. It's good that it's sort of winter time. It highlights the fact of these hills that overshadow this very area. And obviously it says the site of the Bishop's Garden, created in the early 12th century, which is what we've looked around with the gate. I love the fact we can literally just walk around here. Here we are, and this obviously would have been the side of the latrines, and that's where we were up there. All the amazing piping that you can see coming through as well. Fascinating. Tell you what, people must love it here, just because of the air and everything else. I mean, you know, the beautiful fact that you can park up. There's a car park. I parked in, just for reference, everybody. I parked in Colebrook Car Park, which is actually relatively cheap. But obviously, it's just a question. It's actually quite a semi-small car park, so if you can find spaces. But the good thing is, there's pubs, there's places to eat, cafe, everything you need here. So you could really make an amazing day of it. Should you ever want to come down here? I feel like I'm sort of like promoting Winchester, but I am really. Such an amazing place this, and again, it's one of these places that if it was closer to me, I'd happily visit on loads more occasions easily, but it's just a little bit out of my distance, even by being in West Kent. But you know what, whilst I'm here, you've got to make the most of it. You really have to. So here's our next one. It says a travelling lifestyle. It says Wolvesey was just one of many grand houses and castles owned by the Bishops of Winchester, and like I said, we've done a couple already. In fact, There we are. We have done Farnham, which was a castle. And then we've also done, where are we? Bishop's Walton, there you go, which is one of our palaces. So if you haven't seen those already, go back on my channel and just type in Bishop's Walton Palace and Farnham Castle, and it will give you even more history on those wonderful places. There's still a few more things to do, obviously, as you can see, like other manors and everything else. Some of these aren't here anymore. And some castles as well, same, but you can see how Winchester was right in the centre of all of this, pretty much this hub here. And by the way, no, that's not Crawley, that Crawley that's over that way. This is Crawley, Hampshire. But yeah, it says it covers Hampshire, Surrey and the Isle of Wight. Winchester, I mean, you can think of the amount of money and travelling that they were doing. But I'm just so grateful, like I said, you know, the whole purpose of this video today was to sort of concentrate on the trio, the power trio as I like to call them, which was, like I said, Farnham Castle, Bishop's Palace in Walton, and obviously where we are today, Wolvesey Castle, obviously in Winchester. So the fact that we can say we've got to do what I would refer to as the 3 big principal ones, I'm quite happy with that, and I know probably in future videos we will cover their journey even more. But like I said, you know, we have to put this all into context and say that, you know, with this power and all this money came a lot of sadness, a lot of power struggles, very political, a time when politics and religion were completely at each other's throats, but fascinating. So good, so amazing. Well, there you go. I've finished where I started. Just heading out the entrance. Oh, that was just brilliant for me. I was so happy I did that. So happy I got to tick that off the list. What a beautiful ruin it really was, just situated right in the heart of Winchester, with the sound of the church bells going off occasionally, and the fact that I pretty much had that all to myself really. A couple of visitors have just gone in now, but I thoroughly recommend you should come down here, chase up the journey of the Bishops of Winchester, have your own little adventure. I mean, this is what the channel's about, isn't it? Anyway, in the immortal words of Phoenix history, stay safe. Love to all of you out there. Feel free to spread the word of the channel, and because history matters, take care everybody. See you later. Kapow.